What is going on, guys? What is going on, guys? Oh man, we are talking Loki episode 2. And yo, I am hyped. I am so hyped right now. Like this was a there's no end credit. I didn't see any end credits on this one. This is going to be a review slash spoiler. So if you haven't seen the episode, you gotta watch the episode. You really gotta watch it. Loki so far has definitely been it's been what I wanted, man. It's absolutely what I've been wanting. I'm just like very happy. I wonder if I don't see the chat on here for some reason. Make sure you guys, because I want to hear you guys' comments on this. This was a great freaking episode. This was a great episode. This was a Loki's got me hyped, man. Loki's got me hyped. Let me okay, just want to make sure. Okay, so if you guys want to comment on the episode, remember this is an absolutely a spoiler slash review on this episode. Wow, just man, I'm still just wrapping my head around what I just absolutely watched right now. So going from the first episode, it was a lot of explaining, a little bit of recap. I really like the world building on the first episode. This one, it continues that. Now I'm getting a little bit of Men in Black vibes in here on this episode. I really love the chemistry that Tom Hiddleston and Owen Wilson continue to have. The banter, the dialogue, the discussions these guys have, them getting to know each other. That you're conflicted right now. You're really conflicted because I said on my breakdown video with Mr. Marvel Albert, which this episode is going to have repeated viewings because there's a lot to really digest and what happens at the end of this episode. But absolutely, this was dynamite, man. This was super dynamite. So I was getting a lot of Men in Black vibes, but I was also getting a lot of Silence of the Lambs vibes, because in this episode, to catch a killer, you kind of got to get a killer. And they got Loki because Loki is trying to find Loki, right? So you get a lot of like Loki in this episode. What would he do? You know? Uh, so if you guys haven't, like I said, if you guys haven't seen the episode, we're talking spoilers. So in the comment section, post whatever your reaction, whatever you have to say. But we are talking spoilers throughout. So it's no surprise. I believe it's Lady Loki. Lady Loki at the end of this episode. Everybody knew that was probably going to happen with the casting. But with me, I found something interesting. Okay. So it's going to be interesting as we watch it and to really see. They really focused on Ravana, which is basically the judge, right? The first judge that judged Loki in the first episode. She has this. She in the comments, her or in the comics, her character is actually working with Kang. I really feel like they really kind of the timekeepers are really hinted at, and nobody's Owen Wilson's character Mobius hasn't even seen them, even with all the time that he's worked there. So I'm kind of thinking that, I mean, this is another kind of WandaVision kind of thing happening, right, where we're throwing a lot of theories. This is what makes shows so compelling, especially with the first season, not knowing what you're going to get. Is you want to it's a mystery, right? You want to think that there's going to be a lot of twists and turns towards the end of this series, and we do get a nice little I want to say necessarily twist, because they have been foreshadowing what maybe is going to happen, but it's the execution has been fantastic in this episode. So that character, she does work with Kang, and we do get, like, we still see little sculptures in the back of her room, and she has all these all the cases that Owen Wilson Mobius worked, has all these, like, things that he's taken back, she has. I really feel like she's definitely an important character. Is it going to be the same thing where she works with Kang? Most possibly. I think the timekeepers are probably already dead, and Kang is the one that's controlling the timekeepers, or there's a possibility where they flip the script a little bit, and she is actually the timekeeper. She is actually the one who's just kind of, she's the one that's really running the whole thing. That'd be kind of crazy. I could see a little bit of that. I felt that in my gut in this episode. I will say the beginning of the episode I didn't necessarily like, though. I thought the choreography with the 1985, the little festival they were having, I thought the choreography and the song choice was a miss. Honestly, I just didn't. I wasn't feeling it. But I think that's kind of like the only nitpick I really had with the episode was some of the, because Loki is supposed to be a fighter, right? And I mean, this is the, even if they got him at the time of the Avengers. Before that, you remember Thor 1 was before the Avengers, and he was a capable fighter, not only using his wit and tricks, he's a capable fighter. So, even though he's fighting AK Lady Loki in this episode, I feel like his fighting style would be a little bit better. But we do get Lady Loki's fighting style in the beginning of this episode. I just feel like the choreography and the song choice, it just was a miss for me. I just wasn't feeling it at that aspect to it. But as we move along with the episode, oh, like I'm so digging this series so far. I'm loving the look of it. The look of it really makes me immersed in this world. It makes me want to know. It makes me want to know more of it. I want to know what's going down. What is the things I don't know. They explain more of the Nexus. And Miss Minutes is in this episode. I love that scene where Loki is just like, "Are you alive? Are you a pre-recording?" Like, and he tries to swipe at her. I love how they're still using Miss Minutes. I thought she was going to be a one thing only, but she's still involved. The Man, I'm just like I'm really digging it, guys. I'm really digging this series. The first two episodes have been like a really such an enjoyment. Like, I'm watching this episode and I'm enjoying everything about it. It's actually moving in a great pace. It seems like a fast pace, but I'm never like, I don't want it to end. I'm like, okay, I hope there's more to this episode because it's doing everything that I would want a series to do. It's stuff we've seen before. We've seen the buddy cop comedies, we've seen the buddy cop movies, TV shows, but it really works in this. I mean, I was just thinking the whole time, like, holy crap, man, Owen and Tom just have such great chemistry, and who would have thought, And Owen Wilson is killing it. I think Owen Wilson, I've seen so many of his movies, so many things he's been in, but the Loki series is really where I kind of just sat back and said, out of all the serious kind of acting that this guy's done or comedic acting he's done, this is like the best of Owen Wilson. This is the best we've seen in Owen Wilson. I think this is his best performance, honestly. He is absolutely nailing it because people, they are questioning like, why is he so sorry for the noise, that's my cat. Why is he so like attached to this Loki? And then like his his jet ski thing, how he thinks about jet skis. I thought that was pretty funny and great. Him and Loki having like the banter, like I said, buddy cop movies, but it's so rich and so good in this episode. And him wanting, you see the life, being brought to him, wanting to crack this case. He enjoys what he does. He says he likes having that purpose. I'm very curious of what's going to happen to him at the end of the series. I really do think Loki is going to be like kind of the head of everything once everything goes back to order. It's crazy though. It's kind of crazy though, because at the end of this episode, like, it's just like, how do you bring things back to order? What Lady Loki just did, but we'll get to that in a minute. But going back to Owen Wilson and Mobius has been like and I just really dig the the look. Like, these guys are supposed to be kind of time cops, but he's supposed to be a detective, but he looks like an office worker, which is great. I love how they're bringing Loki. Loki looks like he's having a great. He's enjoying the company with this guy. It looks like he's enjoying cracking this case just as much as Mobius, right? It's just so enlightenment, and Tom Hiddleston does such a great job of balancing, the trickster Loki, but then also this Loki that just realized that everything's insignificant, so to speak. So Loki, some of like I said, some of the scenes I wish maybe a better production maybe, but it's only for a scene to like move the story along. So they go to Pompeii. Loki cracks where this variant Loki is at. The Pompeii scene was pretty funny. I love the idea of that. Was such a great little spin on it, where it's the variant Loki is hiding in a timeline where if that world, like Ragnarok, I love how the reference to Thor Ragnarok, it's like, if this thing is going to happen, it's going to happen, but you could do whatever you want before this whole thing blows up. I mean, it's going to happen as long as you don't alter the destruction of maybe like this certain time. So I thought that was great. I thought it was great, but then it made me think like, oh wait, but maybe if you think too much on timeline, if you Terminator, all that other shit. If you think way too much on that stuff, you're gonna start really hitting the holes in the plot lines. You're like, wait a minute, they said this though, and that. I'm just gonna let it go. I'm just gonna say I just really enjoyed that scene, and that pretty much them setting that all up, and right, and what you can do, more rules to this big thing, this big event that's gonna happen, so I really like that Pompeii scene. I liked Loki just kind of, it's all paperwork. It's so funny. He's going through all paperwork. I like how he uses the salad and then the drink and explain it to Mobius. And Mobius like, I just want a snack. I really like that salad. The comedy works really well in here. I'm playing it on my phone right here, so I can, because I've literally just got out of watching it, and so everything's fresh in my mind. I'm just like, it's turning here. The Nexus thing, I really got to dive more into. So yeah, so this episode was really about kind of like getting introduced to our villain, our variant Loki, her kidnapping the one of the timekeepers or the time cops, the trying to finding where this particular variant is hiding out using the candy that Mobius got from the kid and kind of pinpointing what destructive event happened. They go to Alabama. That's where Lady Loki is hiding out. I love, because I'm trying to figure out. No, we know mostly majority of Loki's powers, but this one seems to. He's not. They're not necessarily. And then Loki kind of explains it in the beginning of the episode. It's not like an illusion. She's like, it seems like she could like transfer herself into different bodies, it seems like, in this at the end of this episode. So I thought that was very intriguing. um I like how, I love the conference, the how Loki interacts with everybody, right? He interacts with a group of time cops, he's interacting with Mobius, but then now he's interacting with these different variant, or this variant Loki, but she's using like all these different people and like he's fighting one person. uh and that's where I thought like, man, Loki should be better at this, at fighting, because in Thor he is a good fighter. Not the best, but he's a good fighter. But he is going against Loki technically. So I like the back and forth banter. I was kind of I was like, oh my god, of course they're gonna reveal her in this episode. But are they going to explain her plan, right? She gets a lot of those time capsules things to reset time. um, so she has a lot of them. And I was like, what is she gonna do? And then when they hinted at the time, when they find the capture the hostage, basically, that she had from the beginning of the episode, and her explaining that, I was wondering, like, how does she know where the timekeepers are at? But I think it's just the overall facility, because she lays out all these like reset times, and she lays it all over in that kind of like that facility. She messes up the whole like nexus kind of thing, the branch. It's all jacked up. um so I thought that was really cool. The look of her, she doesn't look like Loki, but this is a different variation of Loki. Some say maybe that's not Loki, maybe it's uh what's her name, this kind of Loki's kind of like somewhat love interest and kind of assistant, so to speak. But no, like it's Loki's. But I think it is it's a variant Loki, so it's Lady Loki. So everybody knew it was going to be Lady Loki. Really cool plan though. I really loved how that like it's just Loki trying to weasel his way, like or not necessarily weasel, but kind of like work together with his variant, saying like I'm gonna overthrow the timekeepers, and this Loki, this Loki's like, nah, man. I mean, nah, I'm not for that. I'm not gonna. I'm bigger picture here, way bigger picture. I don't think Loki. I think Loki has formed such a relationship with Mobius, and has formed already a bond with that, and he likes what they do in that particular field. I don't think he's gonna be. I think a lot of times when he says "trust in me," I think he generally means it. I think Loki and Mobius, because of that relationship, I think that of course when he was talking to the variant Loki, Lady Loki, I think he was just kind of like trying to see what she's all about, right? Trying to see how to get the upper hand, because of course he was worried about Hunter B-15, even though she's been giving him crap the whole time. So I think Loki is definitely he's a good Loki. I don't think he's kind of an anti-hero Loki. So I think that's still in play. I think that's still intact. It's interesting now because he's followed her, and I think maybe we get that scene in the next episode, because everybody thought maybe he was visiting Black Widow, which would have been crazy, but no, it's that scene where it looks like it, but it's probably him talking to Lady Loki. I think there's going to be a hell of a lot more twists and turns towards the end of this series. Like I said, I think that Kang killed all the timekeepers, or something. There's a big twist there. There's absolutely a big twist. There's always a big twist like that. So I think that that chick's I can't really say her. They gave her the weird. Well, it's in the comics. It's in the comics, her name, but goddamn, I can barely say it. Ravonna. They only say it a couple times too. I think Ravonna has, like in the comics, she has affiliation with Kang, but I think that there's more to it. I think, of course, they want to like surprise you and flip the script a little bit. I think she might be the timekeeper. She might be the only one. Maybe the timekeepers died, and she's like, because it really feels like that. It really feels like the every time now knowing that Mobius never even seen or heard of them, Loki always asking like, well, am I going to be able, good gracious, am I going to be able to see them? So it really feels that way. It feels like there's a big twist right there. And then of course, I think everybody are like Lady Loki. This is not going to be like, some things are just right there. And I think that Kang is definitely a villain that they want to set up. So we'll see. But right now, everything's just a disaster. This is episode 2. This is episode 2, and we still, there's 6 episodes left, so we're on episode 2, and already things are going bonkers. Everything's going, all branches are coming out. The time is just all jacked up, but we got to get to the war, right? What I'm curious to know is how, if they're going to bring a lot of these multiverse back, or the time is reset back and back to normal, everything back again at the end of the series, but it isn't truly back again. And that's where we get like Spider-Man, Doctor Strange, like something else breaks it, or something happens where it still messes up a lot of things that are going on. So I am right here on the library scene. The library scene was not too bad. He only had so many cases, but I really do think Loki is going to be like a kind of like the head of this whole operation that they've been doing, the TVA. So that's what I feel like. And I think that because it just seemed a lot of these scenes, he's really enjoying. And then they even have a little competition, him and Mobius, who could get to the where the candy originated, so they could find the variant Loki. And they had this little spirited competition. So the strong suit of this series is definitely the relationship builds, the character, the character development on Loki. This is a different side of Loki we've seen, but I haven't seen executed really as good as I wanted it to. But this is what's given me that. All the other Thor movies, I just felt like, yeah, Loki's cool, but I think they're doing a hell of a job in this series so far. The look, like I said, when I say Men in Black, when I first saw it when I was a kid, was just this awestruck, like, it was just this old building they go, and then they go in, and you see aliens walking, you see all the craziness that's all around them. Will Smith, Tommy Lee Jones is showcasing everything. That's what it feels like. It really feels like that Mobius is kind of doing that, but he's getting a snack. And Loki is just really kind of in this. Loki is us as the audience because he doesn't know about the TVA. Um, yeah, the scene where he does read about Ragnarok and he reads about, fucking Asgard completely wiped out. That was a great scene. I really love how they're really sprinkling in these emotional scenes to Loki because Loki is so torn of being what he has been to being something different. He wants to be something different. And building this emotion, like seeing what lay down the road for his previous variant, his previous Loki, seeing what's happening, the emotional scenes here, man. Him knowing that his whole, even that Loki, that's when he changed. When Loki in Thor Ragnarok, helping his people get away and get out of Asgard, that is still that kind of little bit of piece of Loki in this series. In this version of Loki, Loki is saddened by Ragnarok. He's saddened by his mother's death. I really like that. That's when you start. That's how they really start making you care for Loki more, even though you cared for him already. You knew that he wasn't super evil. He's not like Apocalypse from X-Men. He's not like he's not like Omni Man. Omni Man is absolutely destroying everybody. Loki is, and then his Tom Hiddleston. I think he was better in this episode than last episode because in the last episode, he's going through everything, but he was really showcasing his acting chops in here, and he was making it really fun. The show is really, really, really damn fun, and the music score is really, really good. Other than the first song choice in the beginning of the episode, and of course the choreography on that, I think the choreography on the second fight when Loki was going against Lady Loki, who was using one of the humans basically, and they were fighting, scrapping. I thought that was fine, but the music choices are really good. I really like the sci-fi, but yet they're using a little bit of the Asgard, Thor kind of music in this as well. There is one moment in the episode where the music really kind of turns up a notch, and you really kind of listen to that score. And I thought the score was really nice on that one too. Um, I love how they put like variant on the back of his coat. It's really funny. He's like, when Mobius tells him wear this. The one guy who has the paperweights or the Infinity Stones and the paperweights is in this episode too. This so far, like I knew when these shows were announced, I was more intrigued with Loki. WandaVision surprised me a little bit. I did think it failed on some aspect. The Falcon and Winter Soldier, it did as well. Sadly, I think the Falcon and Winter Soldier was kind of a snooze fest a little bit. But I think Loki so far is nailing it. They're really nailing it. What's going on, Mister? Don't feel so good. We back, baby. We back for some more Marvel. I'm really interested in where Loki and Variant Loki went off to. Albert, bum bum bum. Yeah, guys. Let's talk, man. I'm here. Let's do it. Let me crack the Sprite. Let's get some comments down. I said in the beginning of this review is in spoiler review, by the way. I said that they're probably going to. Well, let's see. Well, she was hiding out on. They're probably going to another apocalypse. It's like another apocalyptic kind of situation because that's how she's been hiding out, and that's how the TVA hasn't been spotting her. TVA has their hands full now at the end of this episode, so they might be going to a calmer place before a apocalyptic event happens. I think that we're gonna see the shot in the trailer when the first trailer of Loki when when it looked like where everybody's speculating that it was Black Widow and Loki, but it's not. It's actually probably Loki and Lady Loki. So that scene where it kind of looks like a little bit of it was dark and it has like those purple um lighting going on. So I think we're gonna get a one-on-one talk, or maybe that happens later on in the series when Lady Loki probably helps Loki kind of just fix everything. Who knows? Albert, I need to watch again for sure, but damn, the show is not slow. Bomb the sacred timeline in the second episode. Jeez, it's so nuts, man. They really they weren't pulling any punches. Like they must have something really, really planned for these next couple episodes. This is already more than what the Falcon and Winter Soldier has done. The Falcon and Winter Soldier was more of a slow burn, and they had it like the main finale towards the end. This feels like this episode felt like episode before the finale, you know. Where then the last episode they try to fix everything up. It was great. It was so good. It was so good. This is a well paced show. Once again, you see a lot of green screen, but when you go with Marvel movies or your Marvel TV, you're going to get a lot of green screen that you really noticed. Um, it's the performances that really elevate that. No Fast and Furious shit. The Pompeii thing is just it's still kind of nuts to me. It's kind of funny a little bit. Trying to get those Mountain Dew Baja Punch and Baja, whatever the other one was. All right. With the Falcon and Winter, it was the only 4 episodes left. With the one in it's there's still 4 episodes left. Yeah, like I said, the pacing is really good on this. I was just looking at it and looking at the time. I'm like, I wish this doesn't. There's so much going on and so much like information but all the information that we're getting and all the things that they're uncovering and things that they're trying to solve. Like that's what we love, right? We love trying to solve. Mystery is always really good because mystery always has you, the audience, along with them, trying to figure out, okay, what's the whole major plan? What's the whole thing going on? And this is definitely an episode where you got to rewatch and you got to see like, okay, now that we got introduced to a lot of things, especially at the end, where can we go from here? And of course, we're going to see where we go from here. But us as the audience wants to know, but what's after that? How do they fix this? It's great. It makes you want to. It gets you pumped and ready for the next episode. That's what great TV shows do. Is they leave you with that cliffhanger, but it's just not that final shot, final scene of an episode. It's leading up to that, and because there's more questions throughout the episode, not only just the end. So really really digging it. Welcome in, guys. I'm pretty sure you guys just got done watching the episode. I started, so they tend to, just to give you guys a heads up, they don't drop it right at midnight. They drop it 10 minutes before midnight. So if you want to get an early jump on it, 11:50 it'll start. That's when you could start. I usually skip the recap because I want to, I'm tired. I want to get to the episode. I wasn't even going to do this for this series. I was actually just going to do a straight review, but since I'm doing the breakdowns with Mr. Marvel Albert, I love those. So, and then the first episode was so good, I had to jump on it. So this episode once again gets me so hyped because of not only the ending, but everything from the beginning to end. There's certainly going to be a big twist. This is a series that I'm definitely seeing that are laying the foundation to other Marvel movies. Kevin Feige said it himself that this was the series that's going to change the game. Of course, actors and whoever works on it always says that, but we're seeing it. Just the mere mention of multiverse and explaining it is fascinating. I wonder if that's why they're holding off the Spider-Man No Way Home trailer, because a lot of people speculated it was going to drop on Tom Holland's birthday. Maybe Kevin Feige is holding it back as much as possible because he knows that this series is going on and he's going to lay a lot of things down. So when we do get that trailer, it kind of is going to blow our minds even more. But he doesn't want to ruin any surprises that are happening in Loki. That's going to lead to that. That's just me talking. That's just me. If I was ahead, like if I was like, no, we're going to hold off on that Spider-Man yet because everybody wants it. But I think Loki is doing a great job of just laying down that foundation, right? So I want to welcome everybody in. If you guys have comments, questions, let's talk about this episode. Like I said, this is a rewatchable episode for sure. It's just something you just got to think about where, just I'm still processing everything, and especially the sacred timeline getting jacked up the way it did at the end of this episode. Barbriella, Haymaker, hey, what's going on? Lady Loki can jump bodies and probably was a timekeeper. That's what I'm saying. I was so surprised that Loki didn't say anything. Like he didn't give like a smirky, comment like, I didn't think I could do that. I can't do that. He explains the abilities in the beginning of this episode. Did I get it? Not really. But I kind of got it. All right. What he can do. We've seen Loki and what he can do throughout the movies and stuff. This is still the same, that same Loki, but Lady Loki seems to transfer herself into bodies, which was kind of a trip. And that's when I was thinking, like, is it really Lady Loki at this point? Because we could still get Kid Loki too in this series, which would be nuts. Now that we've seen that Loki can look different in separate timelines, it'll make sense when we see two different looking Peter Parkers. Yes, absolutely. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying about the Spider-Man No Way Home trailer. Yeah, because Lady Loki doesn't look like Loki. You think she'd have black hair, she has blonde hair. She just doesn't look like her. Every variation of like a no dimension, it's kind of like Spider-Man into the Spider-Verse. Albert, how crazy. There is a little teaser that's going out. It's just the teaser of No Way Home trailer where they just showcase the title and it has a little glitch, and that glitch is a huge. It's the same glitch as Spider-Man into the Spider-Verse. Nuts. So Spider-Man into the Spider-Verse, if you guys seen the movie, Peter Parker in Miles Morales' universe looks like Peter B. Parker in the 616, except different hairstyles, different eye color, I believe. And of course, one is fatter than the other one. But there's different, they look different. But they look the same, but they're the same. With Lady Loki, yeah, she looks completely different. She doesn't look like a Loki to me, but makes perfect sense if you change the alteration of the face. Like, if they did that in the Marvel head said, okay, well, they don't necessarily have to look the same. They did showcase a lot of the Lokis and their different, like there was like a big ass muscular Loki when they were showcasing the different variants. Kind of remind me of Rick and Morty. But Loki, Lady Loki not looking like Loki, that's a great way to say, like, these different, because I didn't really think about it until now. I'll be honest with you. That's right. I just thought multiverse, like, it doesn't, that was already assumed that you don't have to look like you are Peter Parker, but you don't have to necessarily look exactly like the Peter Parker in this universe. So, because Toby, Andrew, and Tom look nothing alike. Maybe Tom and Toby can run for the money, because Andrew doesn't have that type of Tom Holland kind of face, or Toby Maguire. So that could absolutely, no, absolutely. That's a great one. I didn't even really think about it. Going to the 2050 was insane. Those people in the supermarket know more about the MCU than us. Um, how odd that it was. Very odd though when they're jumping right different timelines, and like they had these even in 1985. So when the beginning in 1985 when they jump into that, I do like the effect though when the door. It kind of reminds you a little, definitely of Doctor Strange. I thought that was Agatha. I thought that was Agatha in the beginning of this episode. It looked like her, but it wasn't. I don't think it was. It wasn't. I was like, "Is that Agatha?" That would have been a trip. Um, Yeah, the supermarket thing was you bring choppers and all that. Nah, nah, man. Why do they got to be dicks? Why does the timekeepers got to be dicks who's working with Mobius? You know, maybe that's one little complaint. Like the dude doesn't have to be a dick. You could have gave him a little bit of a personality. You know, it would have made this show even better. But it is what it is. But it seems like it seems like a lot of these shows always use like there has to be that one asshole, right? Well, there's a lot in this series, but there's got to be one asshole. This series is really gonna change everything. I really feel it, Mister. I don't feel so good. I really feel like it's already has. It's already has. I mean, the ending of this episode alone, but just to mention a multiverse, and like we're in it, we're ready. We're gearing up for the next movies, for the next phases. Yeah, I'm excited. I'm absolutely excited. Like I said, I'm always scared because it could be it's a storyline that can get really messy really quick, and especially if they're introducing maybe Secret Wars, young young Avengers, um, Scroll Invasion, like so many stuff that it's insane, man. It literally showed that the Infinity Stones are useless. They are out of the Marvel universe and not the main thing anymore. It's gonna be the multiverse. Yeah, out with the old, in with the new. That was that me and Albert talked about that a lot. How now, how do you make things bigger after Thanos? Where do you go next? Just the mere thought of a live action multiverse of Spider-Man was always on my mind. The animated movie, best Spider-Man movie in my opinion. They nailed it. I couldn't believe Sony did it. But a live action with Toby, Andrew, and Tom, that's something truly special. And hopefully they can nail that. And bringing those villains from the Sony universe, that's nuts. That's just Spider-Man. That is just Spider-Man. Imagine. I'm hearing so many different rumors. I don't believe any of the sites most of the time. I'm hearing like they want Nicolas Cage's Ghost Rider. They want to bring back a lot of the old, like, of course, Hugh Jackman, all that stuff. That'd be nuts. But you can't you can't get any bigger than a multiverse and just the excitement alone of bringing previous already donned the cape or donned the suit into the mix. That's insane. Like if they brought Wesley Snipes' Blade back, like him as Blade, that'd be dope. I would absolutely. Nicolas Cage's Ghost Rider. I have bad experience watching those movies. Yeah, the stones are only useless in the TVA. He could bring the Tesseract to wherever in the timeline they travel to, and they have the power again. It won't work like that, Albert. I'm pretty sure each stone only works from the universe they came from. Miss Minute being, uh, yeah. I mean, it's even if you bring the Infinity Stones. I think the Infinity Stones are what, like when the Ancient One kind of explained, if you knock one of the Infinity Stones, exactly what we've been learning throughout these two episodes. That branch comes and their job is to bring that branch back, the timeline back. The Infinity Stones are still, I guess, if you had to argue, there's still something in the timeline they're in. Like, let's say, like, the it's funny how people want to say a different, instead of calling it MCU, you call it something else. But let's say, it's important on those first phases, right? What was it? Phase fours. We went from 1 through 4. So it's important there. Right. There's still some weight on that particular one. I don't know. It's actually it's kind of crazy because the TVA really threw you upside down, because now you just kind of got to think of it as, it's a crazy analogy, but you got to think of it as MCU or the timelines, Tony dying, all that stuff, whatever timeline's going on. That's life, and that's people, and the TVA are God. Like they're truly God. They're really they are. It's Men in Black. It's Men in Black. It's the it's our world as being a marvel, like a marble. Remember at the end of Men in Black? It's Men in Black, basically. That's how I view it. TVA is the almighty. That's why I'm so curious about the Eternals and the celestial beings. Like, okay, we got the time keepers or whatever. Like, what about the other elements to it? Like, who? Like, I want to know what's the ranking on this thing, you know? And we're gonna probably get it. We're probably gonna get more explanation on, you know, on Kang, on where these Celestials are, the Eternals for sure. Like, where they rank. Like, do they? Doctor Strange, does he know after he going all when he looked all the scenarios? Like, I'm very curious. Miss Mintz being kind of alive and kind of AI was pretty funny. I loved that part. I thought that was pretty funny. Loki will figure out a way to signal Mobius. I don't think I really don't think Loki. There's that bond. Just you could just tell right away. There's a bond. There's Loki kind of looking over Hunter B-15, seeing if she was okay, while not caring, like showcasing that he doesn't care. Sort of like kind of make sure Lady Loki knows. Lady Loki knows that this Loki is a good Loki. Now, this Lady Loki, how bad is she? Why does she want to do all this? Right? Is she just so mischievous? So that's going to be the question on the next episode. I can't wait to see, because I'm very intrigued of Lady Loki and Loki having that conversation and seeing where that goes, because that's going to tell you a lot what's going to happen in this series. It's going to be probably back and forth with those two, really diving in on Lady Loki's past, why she's doing this, and then also going back to seeing how everybody, Mobius, and how everybody's like dealing with the bombing of the sacred time, basically. People are saying that it's not Lady Loki, but a character named Sylvie, who was a normal girl that was given powers by Loki. I guess in the credits, it's credits her as that in one of the foreign credit. Ooh, so not Lady Loki. Well, that would make sense because she don't look like Loki. So it could be Sylvie. I don't know too much of Sylvie. I know of Loki's. Loki does have a woman by his side all the time, and a lot of the animated stuff. Um, Let me see. Let me look it up. I can't remember her name for the life of me. Loki. What is her name? Loki. What was her name? It's kind of like, Sif is for Thor, and Loki has the same thing. Uh, I don't think it was Sylvie though. Don't think it was Sylvie. I can't, for some reason I can't even find it on here. Uh, I think she wasn't the love interest of Loki. I think she was in love with. She used to be in love with Thor. Was that Sif? No, that was Sif. That was like somebody else. Uh, let's see here. I can't remember her name for the life of me. I know I was gonna put the thing. I guess I'll do this for the breakdown. I'm just kind of like off the head right now. Can't remember. So Sylvie, but let's look up that. So Loki's Sylvie. Let's see what everybody's saying here. Sylvie Lushton, Earth 616. Let's see. Loki's partners. Well, it gets nuts. Like Loki has there's a kid Loki too. So it gets pretty nuts. So okay. Sylvie Lushton. Why is it showing it Chantress? Chantress. I'm thinking DC for some reason. So Sylvie Lushton was an average of girl living in Bronx until the Asgardians moved their home of Asgard to Oklahoma. Well, they were in Alabama. Not long after Sylvie woke up one day with the magical powers, unbeknownst to Sylvie, these powers were given to her by Loki for yet unknown purposes. Okay, maybe there is a definitely tie into that. She actually has blonde hair too, and this one has blonde hair. And then I did think that this, the actress who plays her, she looks younger. Interesting, very very interesting. We're just gonna have to dive a little bit deeper on that one. Maybe it isn't Lady Loki because Lady Loki has always been with black hair, like looks like Loki, except Lady Loki, maybe hotter, I guess. People are saying, yeah. So that's an interesting. I mean, that would be one of the twists. That would definitely be one of the twists. People are going to assume that it is Lady Loki. I'm assuming it's Lady Loki, but I wouldn't doubt it was Sylvie because it kind of. I mean, I can see Kevin Feige doing that shit. Kevin Feige likes to take. He will take the storylines like Civil War, but he's gonna have to whatever he has in his arsenal or whatever he could do to make it grounded a little bit. This is why anime fails in live adaptations because they don't respect the source material enough, but they don't change it to where it's not as goofy, right? Well, this one, yes, it's a comic book. Oh, look it, I'm just seeing it right here. No, she's older. She's not as young. Okay. So, but he likes to kind of like change up things that's gonna fit, the overall big storylines and stuff. Um, Now she's a little bit older, right? I mean, that actress, I think I saw her name somewhere around here. Uh, so no, great, great. I mean, that would be really cool though. I mean, it to know that, but they did state that this is a variant. But I'm trying to think like, how do they know it's a variant of Loki? Just because his mo, right? Just because what he does. Um, but then, yeah, well, I mean, if he gave her the powers or some other Loki gave her the powers, yeah, that would make sense. So I'm at the same like I always have it going on my phone on mute to kind of make me watch and see if things I missed that I haven't talked about yet. And I'm at the part, of course, where the sacred timeline gets bombed. Um, Yeah, very such the scene is so Doctor Strange, Ancient One, temple kind of thing going on right here. The look of it, at least. And then, like I said, Loki does go with her. I don't think she was. She. It. Let me see. Did she want him to go with her? It looks like a goodbye, but then he just follows her. So I don't think she intended him to go with her. But that door was there pretty long, and she's walking pretty slow. She just says bye bye. Yeah, because she doesn't look anything like Loki. She has blonde hair. Wouldn't she have black? But then, like I said, the Into the Spider Verse thing. Okay, and then yeah, Mobius. Everybody running towards Loki, and Loki's taking this chance. I never thought he was not going to take that chance. Of course, um, and then no end credits, right? I don't like. I stuck around for a while to see if there's any credits. I didn't see no end credits on there, but you said that her name in Brazil. That's what they're saying, or not Brazil. Brazil in a foreign credit. Yeah, we're just gonna have to see, honestly. The bombing of the sacred timeline will have a bigger impact on the Marvel than anything else besides the snap. But you got to think of this, Albert. If TVA wasn't involved at all, or TVA didn't exist, that snap would have so much more weight to it. I think that's what a lot of people are having problems with this Loki series is that the fact that man, they really it really takes it's going to be funny going back to watch those movies. I could still go watch those films, but the weight of the Thanos snap, Infinity War is not as big because we know that there's something bigger and that this was all supposed to happen. That could all change if the overall plan of this big multiverse thing comes into a crazy conclusion where that all does matter. but I'm not sure. I think they will bring Chris Evans back as Cap. I think Robert Downey Jr. will come back at some point to really, 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 truly end um, kind of like their whole thing, because I think they still got a couple films left in them, but it just really depends, because remember, all these movies got pushed back, TV series got pushed back because of the pandemic. So all these actors are getting older. So something big like that, bigger like that. I mean, they're getting older, The Thanos snap, though, I could agree. I could agree that the weight of the Thanos snap, the Infinity War film, the Endgame film, the weight is just not as grand, because this whole series kind of just throws you upside down and says, no, that's a TV program. This is reality right here. That's what it feels like, right? It's kind of like a WandaVision type deal, where they're doing things that things makes a difference, but honestly, in the long run, it really doesn't. It's all fake. It's not reality. But I still enjoyed my experience in the movies with watching these films. I still can go back and watch these films. Is this going to be in the back of my mind as I watch these films? Yeah, yeah, of course it is. It just really depends on how everything just concludes, this big multiverse thing that's happening. And I think they're doing a good job of, yes, we're sacrificing these phases, the beginning, and we're right here because we're kind of, I guess, in the middle now, but we're getting multiverse Spider-Man, and we're getting companies. I don't think a lot of people think about this enough. Disney, aka Marvel, are working with Sony Pictures. They are not Disney or Marvel. They are their own separate company, and they're playing nice. And they got Venom 2 coming out, and they got Morbius coming out. And there is so many things saying that this all is connecting. Big guys are saying this is going to connect. That's insane. Disney owns everything. Yet the little engine that could, Sony, with all their some of their terrible movies, terrible ideas, this is one thing that's just insane. That to me, Sony and Disney and Marvel working together to produce more Spider-Man films alone, but produce a multiverse, is more maddening than anything that movies could give me or TV shows can give me, because these companies kind of hate each. Amy Pascal and Kevin Feige hate each other. You could see it in the interviews. Some of the leaked emails. She's not the head as much anymore, but still, like Sony and Marvel and Disney, they're competitive companies, but they're together. They made the couple of Spider-Man films and stuff. So it's crazy how reality is more intriguing than sometimes these fantasy movies and stuff. So I'm excited, man. They make me get excited, because I'm just like thinking like, holy shit, Sony is working for something bigger, multiverse with Disney and Marvel. How's this all going to pan out? What happens if they divorce? That got me more like than thinking like, okay, Infinity Stones, this and that. But that's just me. I just feel like they're doing a good job of making me kind of say, well, I do really want to see this other stuff going on, the bigger stuff, kind of like this is pretty massive. This is a pretty big ass deal. This was a great pace, but then now we're sprinting. We're sprinting over here, and we could fall on our face, or it could be glorious. We'll see. Um, it's granted them, dude. She bond more than just Earth. Sakaar, Ego, Titan are all locations that were bombed. Oh shit, really? And Xandar, Vormar agreed to. Holy crap, this might mean nothing or everything. Wow, so she didn't just bomb. I couldn't really see Like I just thought it was like the sacred, just really kind of like that whole kind of organization thing. But no, you're telling me they bombed all of that? Oh shit! Oh shit! And then if they did bomb, no, she didn't bomb Ego. Ego's gone, right? Or well, yeah, I guess he's in some form in the timeline, dude. If Kurt Russell got bombed bro, and nowhere, like so, celestial beings are really, in fact, just not as crazy as like the TVA, and they just don't hold that much power, dude. Yeah, if she bombed all those places, I mean, of course, this is all gonna work out. It's not gonna be like uh, I'm excited to see where it all goes to in the next episode. But of course, this is all gonna work out, and timeline will either be fixed. My theory is that they're gonna keep it spread out. Like they're not gonna form it again. I think that was just the timekeeper's kind of like overall ambition and overall like they wanted the power or something like that. So we're gonna have to see. Albert, we're gonna have to rewatch this, and if you got more tidbits, we're gonna have to discuss this tomorrow or later today. So later today, around 2 o'clock p.m. Pacific time, we will be breaking down, predicting what may happen in the Loki series. This is going to be a great prediction video for sure. We're going to be with Mr. Marvel Albert. So 2 p.m. Pacific time. Go be ready for that breakdown of this episode. I'm going to be rewatching it, and we're going to find some more good stuff and hear what things we missed and what we could elaborate on. So we'll see, man. So far, though, the overall series itself and the overall first 2 episodes have been grand slam. It's been great. I've been having a lot of fun with this series, and I did not have fun with the Falcon and Winter Soldier. I felt like that was a chore. WandaVision was a hit and a miss. This is only 2 episodes in of Loki, but so far I am enjoying it a lot. Like I really, really like the overall premise of this show and the dynamic and the chemistry, which the other character, which the other series did have. What I really do like though is there's a lot of elements of different kind of shows in this one show that I think it really is executed really well and working really good. So I want to thank you guys for listening. If you haven't already, please subscribe to this channel. Would really appreciate it. I have TV, movie reviews. There's so many reviews on the channel. Also snack reviews. I'll be heading to Vegas, baby. If you're into sports, I'll be doing a Raider tour soon. Those skin dying. I'm dying here. So thank you guys for listening. Please push the like button. It will help this channel grow. It will the algorithm, YouTube, and all that crap. Hit the bell icon for notification for that breakdown video at 2 p.m. Pacific time with Mr. Marvel Albert, where we'll be breaking down and predicting the Loki's episode and episode 3. So check that out. I'm Dan Man, aka Dana's son. I'll see you guys next time. You guys have a good night. Get some sleep. I'm going Mimi's. Bye bye. I'm out of here.